Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Royal Sussex Live. Welcome, one and all. Thank you so much for being here. You could have been any place else, and you probably should have. And wait a minute, it's not too late to get away. It's not too late. The choice is yours. But no, thank you so much for being here. And you know what? I'm going to move this microphone closer because I was listening to the playback and I didn't like the way it sounds. It sounded too hollow or something. And I tried to close my mouth because I thought that would help with that echo, but that wasn't it. So, I mean, it's not an echo, it's just, it sounds too hollow. So, I'm going to get another microphone one of these days. I gotta figure out what's best, or maybe one of those things that absorb the sound or something like that. I don't know, but I'm gonna work on it. I don't like the way it sounds. It's too pitchy or something like that. Mary H, thank you so much for being here first. And um, okay, I guess we can just get started. I was actually taking in a very interesting conversation earlier. And my, rumors are abound. You hear me? There are just rumors all over the place. Hi, Elaine Parker. Thank you so much for being here. Hope you're feeling well. Who else is here? Mama Jane, Carmelita Simone, Cassie Banks, Lady Metatrons, Lydia Washington. Okay, and Mackenzie is here. Marcia Ware. Robin Hyde, thank you. Okay, and a host of friends and others, like Hazel Jones is here. All right, let us keep it moving here. Hopefully, I can get you all out of here in an hour. That sounds fun, right? Okay, so Prince Harry vindicated again, Princess Meghan on a ski trip, and the mysterious death of Thomas Kingston. Is that his name? I hope I got that right. Why am I nervous about that first name? Let me just make sure. But wow, how sad, huh? How very sad. But anyway, I have some things to say about that. Um, oh my. Okay. You know, there's a bunch of weirdos that ride the trains nowadays. Bunch of weirdos. Ooh, ooh. And did you all hear this thing about full details of explosive court case in which two women falsely said Brigitte Macron was born a man? Why do they keep doing this to political women? Why do they keep doing that? When I was a kid, it was, did you hear Donna Summers was a man? You know, and now all these years later, um, I'm just surprised it's not a black woman. You know what I'm saying? Because they love to do that to black women. Oh, that's a dude. That's a dude. Um, but Brigitte Macron, um, you know, again, what do they have in common? Politician's wife. They do that sometimes. I think that is just disgusting. Um, I think that there is a lot of ways that people are coming after women just for being women. You know what I mean? Um, with all of the trans right things and who's a woman, who's not. And oh man, I'm like, where is this stuff coming from all of a sudden? Where is this coming from? But I think that you could really attribute a lot of this to the politics of the day. And for some reason, they use that as political leverage. I think it's just a way to, you know, how the Nazis used to use certain language so that they could dehumanize the Jews. I think it's very much in that vein, where it's not so much that is to win a political race or something like that, but it's just this need to dehumanize. So, okay, let's get on with it. So, here are the newest photos. It appears as though they are at some type of ski lodge or something. I don't know what the occasion was, but to me, it appears as though the Sussexes was at some kind of ski lodge. Now, the one thing that people were wondering is if the children were there. And the only reason is not just, for being nosy to see the Sussex kids, but it's actually because there were other children on this outing. One of which I forget the lady's name, but you remember when they had those T-shirts for the what was it, the neighborhood moms or something like that, something mothers, and it was for a women's charity. And anyway, that lady, unfortunately, her son had I think he had some type of like heart disease that he was born with, and the poor kid passed away. Um, and Meghan had been a great comfort to her. So it was that lady and a couple of other people that were in the photo. But and this is right along with this constant barrage of commentary from the tabloid media that the Sussexes are broke. And even that monster Lady C just got in on the action about how the Sussexes are so hard up for cash. And I just, I know why they do it, but I'm just amazed that they think that that is going to um, have have some type of I don't know what they think that's going to do, but I am sure that it is also for their constituency, right? The people that think that those people are smart, the Lady C's of the world, cunning and smart. I guess they are the opposite side of the same coin, but it's just that some people, actually, I would like to think most of humanity is smart, and that there's a select few that are cruel, nasty, and cunning. Um, and Lady C is one of those people. The flip side of the coin. Um, but I don't know. I guess it that gives smart people a bad name is to compare the two. So perhaps I ought not do that. And speaking of the flip side of the coin, speaking of the flip side of the coin, as I have often pointed out, that Lady C impressed me as being the flip side of a coin. But what coin is unclear. Actually, it's not. I'll show you exactly which one it is. Which is really so sad. That coin, it is the flip side of that coin. So I was just kidding when I said what coin is it is unclear. It is the nickel, because I have never seen anyone who bears such a striking resemblance to one of our founding fathers. I believe that is Sir Thomas Jefferson. Yes, Mr. Thomas Jefferson. I don't think I've ever seen anybody who has such a striking resemblance to Thomas Jefferson. So when I say the flip side of a coin, there literally is a coin that resembles Lady C, and that, of course, is the American nickel. Um, yes, I am Jamaican. Yes, I am Jamaican. I love the way she tries to talk so high tone and high brow, like she's top drawer. She tries to talk all erudite and everything, and it is, ugh, it's embarrassing. Let's see. So, oh, Elaine Parker, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you for being here. And T, you cannot. I I made sure that on my part that you're able to. I don't know what the problem can be. Are you sure you didn't block me or something? I don't know. I mean, I did like the only thing that I can do, but I don't know. Are you sure you didn't just like um delete the channel and then because of course there's the 1 week thing, so I don't know what could have happened, but I'll take a look at it again, but I'm sure I fixed it. But anyway, thank you so much for trying, and thank you for being a member for 11 months. And Brown Girl, well, thank you for being a member for 22 months. Thank you very much, and hello to you too. Okay, yeah, I will definitely take another look at that and see if there's something I can do. Hi, Leslie F. Thank you so much for being here. Okay, let me continue here. Well, I don't know who those people are, by the way. I don't know who they are. But as long as our Sussexes are looking happy and relaxed and tan, hey, Black Queen, that's all I care about. Okay, and then there's this one. This is the one that kicked it off. Again, I don't know what the occasion was, but does there need to be an occasion? I'm not going to post it pictures of the children, even though the children that were on this trip are unrecognizable. I mean, they have on ski goggles and everything. And I don't suppose that they were the Sussex children because I just don't think they were. Uh, one of the kids were way too large to be one of the Sussex children. So, but yes, there were children on this particular trip, and the photos were posted, and we're glad to see our faves are out having a good time. And pretty much that's all I can say about that. I don't know any other information to share on that particular trip. Oh, well, let me see. There was that caption that went along with it. Let me see what it says. It says, beyond grateful for the best of friends, what a trip. Thank you doesn't even begin to express what my heart is feeling after this trip. The love of family time and adventure and belly laughs made this trip made one for the books rather. Here's to many more adventures with friends that feel like family and appreciating each other. And that was from I think it's Heather Dorick, and she's on the what do you call it? She's on the Instagram, and yeah, and then there was oh, let me see, what do you have here? It says I've been subscribed, but I can't figure it out. Well, I am so sorry that that is happening to you, but again, I will make sure that I take another look at it, but I can't imagine what the problem could be. But thank you again for trying, and thank you for the super chat and for being a member of Royal Sussex. Okay. All right. Oh, well, there it is right there. That's what I just read from the bottom of that one. Actually, that middle one, and then the other one says, wow, what a perfect trip. My heart is full. The kids crushed the slopes by day, and the adults howled with laughter deep into the night. Truly lucky to live it with our wonderful friends. Okay, well, that's what the other one says. So I don't know which of the two women you could see. There's Heart Mom, that is the lady who unfortunately lost her son, and then the other mom, and I don't know which is which. But anyway, our Duchess had a great time, and that's always important because even though we know for sure that they're not just sitting around the house, um, I'm just glad that they're getting out more, and I'm glad to see them. I told you guys I'm always glad to see images of them, and even though sometimes those images come from the worst possible places, and I definitely don't want to see the pap photos of them, but you know, it still, I'm always glad to see him. H Knight, hi all. Heather is in the middle with blonde hair. Oh, thank you very much, and thank you for 22 months membership. 22 months membership. Oh, and by the way, I'm gonna close the Patreon this month, so please, if you are on Patreon, you all please in your membership on the Patreon because I'm gonna close it this month. And let's see what else. Hmm. Oh, and if you are on Patreon, it won't show how long you've been a member, unfortunately, and that's one of the things that comes with having a membership on the YouTube is that you can use those stickers. It shows how long you've been a member on the screen, and there's been some confusion about that, and I'm very sorry I haven't addressed that more often. But some people assume that if they have a Patreon membership that they can, do stuff over here. But Patreon really has nothing to do with YouTube at all. So that's why I want to get rid of it because Patreon is really just another way for you to find support for your channel. But they kind of bring some things together. Um, but again, you have to post videos over there. You can do private videos over there, and that is like having two channels at once, as far as I'm concerned. It would definitely conflict with my daily upload. So I choose to just avoid it because that is way more work than I'm capable of. So, and I should have closed it a long time ago, but this time I'm committed to it. I'm going to close out the Patreon. So if you have an account over there, please do, move it over here, and I'm still deciding whether or not to start up a buy me a coffee. So we'll see. But again, Patreon and it doesn't give that information on this screen. So anyway, thank you for your time, and let's continue. So Prince Harry granted access to secret Levinson records in Daily Mail hacking claim. So I did make a short video last night about this, and quite a few people have seen it. So I'm not going to play it here, but it is one of the videos that's available. And I guess because of the topic, lots of traffic was directed toward that particular video. And it's not ranked among one of my, how do we say it? Hmm. What do I usually call it? Oh, yeah, the food truck video. I wouldn't refer to it as a food truck video. So, um, guess what? You guys have you have avoided me showing it here. So I'm trying to see how many views did that one get. Uh, oh, almost 7,000 views in 14 hours. That's about 500 views per hour. So yeah, that's good. Nothing to complain about. Uh, Big Mama says, Baron, I have come to the conclusion that people in the UK media can say what they want without repercussion. But what I can't get my head around is Sway at a Jewish place. Well, I've already said the reason I believe he was there. because he opened up his big mouth and said something about Gaza. That was his way of trying to clean up things. But they swear that that was already something that was scheduled for earlier this year. But when he had an excuse not to go to work and he declared that he just could not be bothered, then of course, when he decided to work, that had to be the first place that he headed to was to a synagogue. And then, of course, not a mosque. I guess it's not a popular thing right now to go to a mosque, but really, if you want to show concern for everyone in the realm, you should have gone to both because, the civilians, they have nothing to do with the conflict. But unfortunately, it's the civilians in Gaza that are suffering from this genocide. So um, he could have shown some solidarity to them since he was saying, "Oh, too many people have died." Well, then go over there and say something. Make an appearance at a synagogue. I'm sure there's an expat community of people from Palestine that you can visit with. Don't be scared. Remember, you're going to be the sovereign, so you should support everyone. Joan Lawman, thank you, Big Mama. Joan Lawman, thank you so much for the super sticker, and thank you so much for being a member of Royal Sussex. Greatly appreciate it. And as always, thank you so much for watching. Okay. But yeah, so do check it out. It explains a few things. Now, I have to admit, I don't know a whole lot about the Leveson inquiry, and I'm not even sure that was the right thing to put on the thumbnail. But because there was Leveson, and was there a Leveson 2, or was there a proposal for a Leveson 2, and they never actually had one? But the Leveson thing was supposed to like really dig into the phone hacking and all that stuff. And of course, when they got to investigating the connection between the police and the media, then all of a sudden they were like, well, we're done. Two people are going to jail. Rebecca Brooks is not going to jail, in spite of the fact that she has incriminated herself. And that was the end of it. But there's still so much more to be done. Um, let's see. He don't care about Palestinians. He was being disingenuous. Yes, and he is all of those things. Absolutely. I couldn't agree with you more. Absolute coward and a racist. Okay, so exclusive Prince Harry granted access to secret Leveson record in Daily Mail hacking claim. This means that hoghead Piers Morgan is going to have the reporters outside of his door again. I'm surprised they haven't been there yet, but I don't know. Maybe it's a little too early, but he's going to come out and say something about Harry, talking about his family or whatever, instead of staying focused on the main thing, and that is the fact that he seemed to have played a role in the phone hacking, right? And of course, he hasn't been, taken to task for it either by incarceration or bankruptcy. Everything seems to still go his way, and he never seems to be out of work for long. So he has never really paid for anything. But then that is the majority of the people that were involved in the phone hacking. They have paid no price for it. Just a few people have gone to jail. And of course, reputation wise, I don't know how you can go wrong because there's always work for some of those racketeer reporters over there. Oh, I like that. Racketeer reporter. I like the ring of that. Racketeer reporters. Or should it be reporter racketeers? Huh. Anyway, I like that. All right. So, as you read, the Thomas Kingston died of an apparent wound to the head, a catastrophic wound to his head. Um, do recall that when Thomas Kingston's death was first reported, it was said his death was not suspicious. Now, when I saw that, ooh, it was like somebody threw cold water all over me. I was like, that's right. That's right. They said it was not suspicious. Now, honestly, I don't remember where I saw that, but I could have promised you that I know I heard it somewhere. I know I heard it. And so Thomas Kingston died at parents' £3 million home. As police say, death was not suspicious. Lady Gabriella Windsor's husband tragically died on Sunday evening at his parents' mansion in Gloucestershire, right? But then you move over here. What happens if Prince William commits a serious crime? Prince William's fate has been revealed if he is ever accused of a serious crime. Hmm. So you see there? See how that goes? And then, of course, there's a big question. Exactly where was he this past Sunday? Right? Where was he this past Sunday? And I'm telling you all, they wanted attention on TikTok, right? Will and Kate in Kensington Palace, they wanted attention on TikTok. Well, attention is what they are going to get. They are going to get the attention that they have sought. Oh, thank you so much, Black Queen. That is helpful. I never think to do any of this stuff, but okay. So I'm gonna pin this to the top of the chat. It is for a membership to Royal Sussex. So if you're considering a membership, and people always ask me, how do I do the membership? Well, there you go. And that will help support the channel every month. So thank you so much, Black Queen. Um, so, yes, isn't that something? So this happens on Sunday. And what day was that? Tuesday? We hear about it. They make the announcement. And then we find out William has pulled out of the memorial service. And it's weird, just like Kate just had abdominal surgery, it's not cancerous. And then 90 minutes later, Charles is going to have surgery for his prostate, but it's not cancerous. And then a week later, or was it 2 weeks later? Guess what? It's cancerous. Well, actually, we don't know what's cancerous. They said while treating him for that, they found something else. And then some people are of the opinion that Charles has been ill for some time and that it was being kept hush hush. I will say this much: Charles, I believe Charles is less active at his age than the Queen was at the same age. The Queen kept more engagements um, than what Charles is capable of doing right now, even with the pandemic and even with other circumstances. I believe that the Queen and Philip was far more active in their 70s than what Charles and his emotional support Camilla is at this time. So I don't know. It just seems that way. I'll have to go back and look at those numbers to see how many engagements that they were doing in their 70s in comparison. But that's the only way I'll know for sure. But it just doesn't seem like, even with the pandemic, even with everything else, Charles has slowed down some time ago before either one of these announcements. So maybe he's known that he's had a problem much sooner than the announcement was made. Also, also, um, There's the other school of thought. I'm just sharing this with you. I don't necessarily believe it to be true. But the other school of thought is maybe nothing is as serious as it appears with Charles, but that, as people said from the start, he's just giving cover to Willie. He's only given cover to Willie. Now that seems more logical than just about anything else, is that his announcement was timed, because I still say that it seems rather reckless and irresponsible to make to put out statements like that back to back. Because if I was a royalist and those people were important to me, I would feel rather insecure knowing that not only is one senior member of the royal family in, y'all ready to have your sip? Not only that one senior member is in hospital, but that there's two senior working members of the royal family in hospital. Oh, God. You know, I had actually kind of gotten over that, but now it's coming back on me again. But yes, the two senior members of the royal family in hospital, not the hospital, but just hospital. I feel like I'm in one of those Charlie Chan shorts. I promise you. I feel like I'm in one of those old Charlie Chan shorts. If I start asking about number one son, um, I don't know, just stop me, okay? Throw some cold water on me for real. But yes, in that place, I thought that would have been unusual to do something like that, and they did, and it just doesn't seem sensible that they would do that, but they did. And so the idea that there's something terrible had happened, and that the 28th, the 28th, you know, I just thought about it. That mysterious motorcade, wasn't that the 28th? That marks exactly 2 months from that mysterious motorcade of the 28th. Wait, December, January, February. Yeah. So that marks 2 months of that mysterious motorcade. And remember, the motorcade was not headed to the London clinic. It was headed to, what is it, the St. George Hospital or something like that. Um, and whoever recorded that video said they hope everything is okay. Right? Let me see if I can find that. Let me see. Uh, Let me see. So I saw that they announced on the 17th. Let me try the 18th. I think that's when I because I don't think I labeled that. I don't think I labeled it. But I do believe I have a screenshot of it. And if I do, I will share it with you. Huh. No, I don't see it. I don't see it. Let me try 19th. 19th. Nah, I don't see it, you guys. But hmm. But yeah, so someone just happened to have seen the motorcade, and they recorded the what they saw, and they posted it, and nobody paid much attention to it. Now it's like the only evidence that we have that Kate may have actually have gone to the hospital sooner than what was mentioned. That's the only proof that we have. And again, I say maybe. We don't know for sure. Um, mm, oh boy. Let me try one more thing. Just want to see if I can find that. Uh-huh. Mm-mm. Oh man, I don't see it. You know what? Maybe I didn't save it. I probably did not save it. That's probably what it is I just did not save it. But I just wanted to read exactly what it said. And let me try one more thing here. Let me try one more thing. It's like I have several ways to look for stuff. Oh yes, I was on twice that day. I was on twice. So that was the 17th, that announcement. Okay. Or was it the 8th? Well, okay. Okay. I'm not gonna bother because I'm getting further away from the shore. I'm swimming further away from the shore. And you know how I am when I start looking for something. I know I don't see it. So, okay, no matter. But yes, that was the only proof that we had that something odd had happened. And so far, the tabloid media has made absolutely no mention of it. None. Hmm. Okay. All right. Very well then. Okay, forget about it. Okay, one more. One more, one more. Oh wait, one more, one more. Let me look at one more. And honestly, it's not that important, but while I'm thinking about it. Okay, never mind. Let me take a look at a couple of your comments here. Yeah, I was going to talk about that too. Okay. All right, let me go to the next slide. I've been there too long. So, A.N. Wilson says the only way to stop the ugly rumors and speculation is for the royals to come clean about Kate and Charles' health. We hope Charles will make a speedy recovery from his cancer and reign over us for a long time to come. But he is a 75-year-old man with a serious illness. At the moment, rumors fly around about what Prince and Princess of Wales, which make us question if he and Kate are in a position to take over. He said the quiet part out loud. Should this dire duty be thrust upon them, our hearts go out to them, but they are not, unfortunately, in a position to hide from the harsh realities about their health. However, much as they may want to. Okay, so that is what one of the Daily Mail writers or reporters, columnists wrote. Daily Mail seems to be slipping, right? Usually they provide the most protection for the royal family, right? They are right in the hip pocket of the royal family. But right now, they seem to be pushing back as though they feel as though we are either going to talk about this or we're going to talk about that. If we can't talk about both, it's going to be one or the other. It's almost as though they're waiting. You either come clean about Kate or else. Anyway, one of the squatties said, as I said, the Daily Mail is ending their alleged, I threw that in there, protection racket. If they don't get the goods on Kate Middleton, they're going after King Charles. Your move, concubine, over at Buckingham Palace. I love that. Your move, concubine, over at Buckingham Palace. And of course, when they say concubine, they are referring to this bit of over what is it? Outdated goods. Yeah, this bit of outdated goods. That is what they're talking about. Your move, because you all know that they hired, what is it, one, two people from the Daily Mail and brought them on as staff at Clarence House and or Buckingham Palace, whichever they're using as their, for their stationery. But whatever the case may be, they have brought over people from the tabloid media. Usually they're bringing in people from the government, they're bringing over bureaucrats, but now they're bringing over reporters. I don't know that the Queen has ever had some tabloid reporter working for her. Of course, Dickie Arbiter was a press secretary before he became a tabloid reporter. Um, so yeah, but the how do they say about the United States and Britain? The special relationship. Well, this special relationship seems to be on a decline. And somebody, and I do mean somebody, is going to get hurt. Somebody is going to get hurt because I think, I believe, I feel that a pound of flesh is required um, if they want to continue to receive the special treatment that they receive. Oh wait, who's preaching? Who's preaching? Um, I don't want to miss that. Is it Adrian Burrow? What did I miss? I'm going back looking. I'm going back looking. What did I miss? I just lost it. I just saw something and now I lost it. Okay. Rumors didn't stop when Harry and Meghan correct the rumors that was bestowed on them. So, okay. Okay. I hear you loud and clear. I hear you loud and clear. You don't have to say it twice. I got you. Ready? Ready for it? Okay, here goes.
Hey, girl, sit down. Sit down. Sit down. Stars.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you, Adrian Burrow. You said it. Yeah, you said it. Oh, man. Uh-oh. Carla Johnson. Hi, Baron. They reported no cancer for Kate. I am going to have to leave my Facebook support group. They want people to leave Kate alone. I said they need to stop bullying and treating Meghan awful. Amen to that. And thank you so much for the very generous and very thoughtful super chat. Um, I agree. I agree. You know what? In spite of everything, and I thought, oh, is this a time to stop being so critical? But I say no. I say no because they're public figures and I don't know of anything I could have ever have possibly have said that could have been so hurtful and so cruel and so mean spirited as what press, the press, the people in the press, these royal authors that they bring onto television. They have said some nasty, horrible things. They have this tone that they use about Harry and Meghan. And even Johnny Diamond, I saw him one day on CBS. And he, I guess whoever that reporter is, she looks biracial. She usually works the late night shift on CBS for their streaming news. And of course, she pretended like she knew nothing. And he filled her in about Harry and Meghan and them stepping down. And everything was just awful, awful critical commentary of Harry and Meghan. And then all of a sudden, it's as though the clouds cleared, the skies were blue, and there was a beam of sunlight raining down on Kate in the garden with other people's children planting flowers. And that right there, they have created so much hostility, so much apathy, and so much anger toward Harry and Meghan that he can't even take his children to his birthplace. They wanted to see the Queen. And if you all remember, I kept saying over and over again about how I feel like the Queen may have been suffering from elder abuse. I felt like there may have been some elder abuse. And as things unfold, we find out that the Queen ordered her people to arrange security for Harry and Meghan and for their children. That given the special circumstances of his birth, the particular unique circumstances of his place in this world, that he should have security. And they ignored her. It's all coming out now. And that's why these court cases are so important. And I'm sorry, I'm not at that place where I can just forgive and forget because every time I think about them weaponizing the white woman tears to go after Meghan, that hurts. That really, really hurts. Just like I don't like people to use the N word because just the word reminds me that so many people were lynched because of the dehumanizing effect of that word. That word can take a PhD or it could take any pillar of the community and they are reduced by that word. So, yeah, I don't have a lot of sympathy for them. I do feel for the children. I wouldn't want anybody's parent taken away from them. But other than that, I just don't have that type of sympathy for Will and Kate. I do not. They have been horrible. And I said it before and I will say it again. They have been absolutely horrible toward Meghan and Harry. And there's not one day that I'm not amazed that that family, lousy Charles, would allow a woman into his life that not only targets the mother of his children, along with him, of course, but then you allow that evil to turn on your two children. Indiscriminate attacks leaking to the press. And yet, nobody in that country that calls themselves a tabloid report, well, they don't say tabloid, but none of those reporters are ever honest enough to say the amount of, well, there's very few that will admit that the leak, but they don't say it enough, because the whole core of this situation, it goes back to the fact that William and his people plotting against his own brother, plotting against his sister-in-law, getting into some relationship with Meghan's father to either end the wedding or stop the wedding in some way, disrupt the wedding. And even after that, they continued and still, in some way, form, or fashion, stay in contact with him. So yeah, I've been thinking about this and wrestling with this, and I'm not sorry for what I think some days. I'm really not sorry for it. I'm only sorry for those children. And I hope those children can have both their parents in place there to love them and support them. And I feel sorry for those kids that they're growing up in that system, and possibly one or all three of them being turned into a product much like their mother and father. But that's what it calls for. And that an entire country of people, there are very few voices that even speak out for the protection of those children, as though they're not people. So, anyway, Carla Johnson, thank you so much for the super chat. As you can see, I had, as you can see, I've been trying to figure out how I felt, but I feel the same way I felt before anybody went to the hospital. I really do. I feel the same way I felt before anybody went to the hospital, and that's just the truth. That's just the truth. I want for them what they wanted for Harry and Meghan. I want them to have whatever it is, whatever version of love that they were offering to Harry and Meghan. I want them to have it tenfold. So thank you so much for your comment. I guess that's the Scorpio in me talking. B. Martim says, I am just going to keep on drinking the old and the boring just getting good. Oh, thank you so much, B. Martim. Okay. But yeah, I'm not in that place yet. I'm not ready to forget and move on. Baron, don't you think the Queen knew Camilla was evil, which is why she never wanted Charles to marry? Even I'm sorry, I've offered wondered how many years the Queen was actually abused. Um, well, that is unclear. That is unclear. But I would say that whatever, and we'll just have to say alleged abuse that there was, um, it probably started when the courtiers realized that she was not only very old, but that she was terminally ill. That she was terminally ill. And so, as she gave more responsibility to Charles, and I do remember they were saying that um, the household for Charles, Clarence House, seemed to be very, very disrespectful toward Buckingham Palace or the Queen's house, and that they would just routinely ignore directives from the Queen's staff, and that they had already moved on. They were already on to Charles's bandwagon. That they had already that the Queen was like an animated corpse. It didn't matter what she said or what she wanted. They had already moved on. They had already, in their minds, had the funeral. The bridge had already come down. They had moved on. And so they listened to Charles. I do believe that Charles was a regent, even if it was not official. Charles was a regent. And when you're a regent, you possess all the responsibility. And I don't blame the Queen for that, even if she was of good health at the time. when that happened. But, the Queen did spend the night in the hospital, and they raised the flag over Buckingham Palace or whatever residence as though she wasn't there. And then, of course, the royal reporters got a little testy about the fact that the Queen had been in hospital and that they didn't hear about it until they found out, and then it was confirmed. And so it is not impossible that Kate is still in the hospital and no one has leaked it yet. Or even if you were to leak it, who would you tell? Because the reporters are not going to report it. The tabloids are not going to run it. If they have a media blackout, like when the Prince of Wales was dating Wallace Simpson, only people in the US knew about it, but it wasn't common knowledge in the UK because of the media blackout. Out of respect to the crown, they didn't say anything. And if they've done that back in, what was it, the 1930s, there's no reason to believe they wouldn't do that now. They owe everything they have to that institution. That is their bread and butter. So they have no reason to go against it. Thank you for your comment. Paula Girl says, it is very possible that Kate started to rebel after watching Meghan say fish off to, oh, yeah, I get you, to Willie and the system. No, I'm going to tell you why I don't buy that one. The dressing up like Meghan was like a passive aggressive attack on Meghan's character. It was an attempt to erase Meghan from the consciousness of Britain, from the images that we all know of Princess Diana. We all have our favorites. And just as I've said it before, you can do it right now. If you Google Meghan tan coat, tell me how many pictures of Kate pop up. If you Google this outfit and that outfit for Meghan, how many times do you find pictures of Kate? And that's deliberate. What is his name? That one guy, the media guy, he is expert on how to drive things in the algorithm. He's an expert on that. And they did that deliberately. Kate is not comfortable in Meghan's clothes, but she's doing it because they figure that's one way that we can make Meghan disappear. That we will let you ride her coattail. That you can stay visible by pretending to be her. Someone put a thread on Twitter, and that thread is, I don't know how many photos of Kate imitating Meghan. That's not flattery. That's not a cry for help. That's an insult. And it was meant to make Meghan disappear. It was meant to make her feel insecure. And every time I see that, it just makes my blood boil. Every time I see her grinning in one of those outfits, she's not a girl's girl. She is not friendly to other women. Just like at the tennis game when she was flirting with that guy right in front of his wife. Right in front of his wife. And she did that deliberately. And the first time they wrote about it, they, alluded to that. And then a call from Kensington Palace, and they changed it. Now, fortunately, I took a screenshot to keep as a receipt. I took a screenshot. But that's Kate. So, no, she wasn't rebelling. You know how they say I might be in it, but not of it. No, she was in it, of it, part of it. One of the contributors. She was all of those things. So no, 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 no. She was as big a part of it as anybody else in that institution. Let me see. Hi, all. Exactly, Baron. I can have empathy. Yes, to help understand the horrific racist wait, misogynoir and narcissistic abuse to try to dangerous liaison, Harry and Meghan, but never forget, hold them accountable. Yes, hold them accountable. What they did was uh, tantamount to, well, like you say, a dangerous liaison. It is tantamount to that. They were trying to destroy Meghan literally, figuratively, and every other possible way. And they would have gone on business as usual, just like they did when Diana died tragically and mysteriously in that tunnel in Paris. Just same way they carried on when the Queen died. The Queen died, and you would never know that she had been there for 70 years. She's not spoken of. There's no, oh, we're gonna, keep this or keep that going or anything like. No, not a mention. Not a mention. She was here and then she wasn't. Now, to be fair, I couldn't think of anything that she had actually done aside from meeting all the American presidents and being there for 70 years and that speech she gave in Kenya. But I can't think of anything else she's done. But I do believe that Harry was absolutely her favorite grandchild and she meant to protect him as best she could. And she was ignored. I believe she was just ignored. Now that happened to her, maybe that is the corner that she painted herself into, just like Charles is painting himself into a corner with William and his crew. Because if you think Charles didn't have much love and respect for his mother, and that is quite a thing to debate because he seemed to have it in for her. Wait until Willie is the caretaker for Charles. I'm thinking of that movie with Kathy Bates, Misery. I'm thinking whatever happened to Baby Jane. I'm thinking of a lot of scenarios that play out in my head when that time comes. When you see Charles singing, "Oh, oh God, Camilla, I've written a postcard to Daddy. His address is heaven above." If you ever seen Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, that was that song, "I've written a postcard to Daddy." Well, if he starts singing "Postcard to Daddy," then we know he's in trouble. If he starts singing "Postcard to Daddy," he is in trouble. He won't need any snow tires because the next winter will not be promised. Oh man. Let's see. Cookies and Cream says the young royals and their racist house mercilessly and relentlessly heaped abuse on Meghan while she was heavily pregnant. The Sussexes lost a child at the hands of these heinous people. Exactly. Exactly. They could not bring back that unborn child. And all of the plans that they had as a family was delayed because of that. All of their plans were delayed because of that. They meant to have two children. They have two children. The queen died. It was delayed. And every time you look up, there's some obstacle coming from over there to delay them from the level of greatness that they have achieved and will continue to achieve. Thank you, Cookies and Cream. B. Martin says, Baron, this goes back to the Queen and Margaret. The Queen did not compete. She uh, quiet her. She her competition is real. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep, she didn't compete. She didn't compete. But I think that the Queen was handled by her courtiers when it came to her sister, and I don't know if you could say that they. I'm pretty sure at times when there were tough decisions and the Queen seemed to be stuck, that the courtiers decided for her. And I believe now there's a lot of The Crown that I just don't buy. But that scene when Margaret wanted to take more responsibility after she had cleaned herself up, um, and the Queen brought in courtiers to have a conversation with her to let her know we don't need you. You all remember that? I believe that really happened. I believe that happens often. I believe that happens often. There have been some American families where the children have inherited. Oh, by the way, thank you so much for your comment. They have inherited a great deal of wealth. And I'm thinking the Bingham family, I think it was that family where I don't even remember what happened with that family, but something terrible happened. And the siblings, kind of like the Walton children, the siblings were not talking. Although I don't think that the Waltons have that problem. And the Waltons, of course, own Walmart. But they were rich like the Walton family, not as rich, but they did not talk to each other. They communicated through memos, they communicated through their secretaries and staff because of the breakdown of the family relationship. And so when I'm speaking about Harry and Meghan or the royal family, I often get very frustrated because people will say, well, that is her father. Oh, that is his father. Well, that is his brother. Um, if you look at them as a conventional family, then you're missing everything. You're missing the entire point of what's happening. That is the worst place to start, is to look at them as being just another family. They are not. None of us have been raised with a paparazzi jumping out of a bush. Right there, that makes them different from us. None of us have been raised having our phones hacked like that. Instantly, that makes them different. There's a lot of things that Harry has gone through, and even the rest of that family, that makes them different from real people. They're not a conventional family. They're an oddity. They compete against each other. They plot and scheme, literally like the Game of Thrones. You cannot put them in that same category of being just another family. It's not. The only one that I know of that has that type of heart is Harry. Harry is kind of naive about the family relationship, but he's had his eyes opened. He's had his eyes opened. Now he see them in a better light than ever before. But I think the only exception was the relationship with his grandmother, and even that wasn't necessarily normal. He wrote in his book that he wanted to hug her and he never felt like he should or that he could. Every big occasion, he wanted to hold his grandmother, but it just was not allowed. It wasn't acceptable. So that right there lets you know that he had more of what is quote unquote normal in terms of his idea of family compared to the rest of them. which of course he gets that from his mother. I love the story about Charles asking Diana where they've been. Where have you been? We went to McDonald's. Oh, that doesn't make any sense. We have a perfectly good chef here. He doesn't get it. He will never get it. But that's the world he comes from. Raised by that Edwardian grandmother of his, he doesn't know the difference. He doesn't know what real people do. Oh God, I'm talking too much. Let me move on because I've been on here an hour and I think I'm on what slide am I on? I don't know. But I'm gonna keep it moving. Let me see here. Oh, you think so? Well, I know most people were against Philip. Most people were against Philip. I was already earmarked for repairs. Yes, that is true. Yeah, and the tabloids they pretend like they didn't know the difference, but yeah, like Cookies and Cream said, Frogmore was already earmarked for repair, and yet every day, while Meghan heavily pregnant, every day there was one abuse after the other about that flippin' Frogmore cottage, and they knew that that place was five separate residents that were made to house staff people. The place was vacant and in dire need of repair. As a listed, grade two listed building, it was in need of repair. And just a reminder, anytime you hear cottage, cottage is a servant's quarters. William only just moved to his family just moved to a cottage for the first time in his life when they moved to Adelaide. But other than that, William has only known the finest of things. Harry was the one who lived in some basement apartment in Kensington Palace. Harry was the one who lived in that dilapidated, ill suited Nottingham cottage. Cottages for servants. The family stays in a house or a palace or a castle, but cottages are for the servants. And isn't it interesting that when Willie decides that there may be a big announcement soon, let's say 2024, the announcement that we were all waiting for, that he and Kate were going to go separate ways, allegedly, he moved her into a cottage. Maybe that was her first clue. If she knew things were going to go bad, that they were going bad, is when he took her from a fine apartment at Kensington Palace, a beautiful house in the country, Anmer Hall, and moved her into what? A servant's quarters. He moved her into a servant's quarter. There was not a room for a jacuzzi or a pony. A servant's quarters. While I believe, I am going to allege that she stays there, but he stays in Windsor Castle. I'm just saying, I don't know how you drive past Windsor Castle and go to a cottage if you don't have to. I believe, allegedly, they divide their time with the kids between the two households. He at Windsor Castle and she at Adelaide Cottage. That's what I believe. Yep, that is what I believe. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense that Windsor Castle would just sit there empty. That way, he can be close to the children, 5 minutes away. He could do the school runs, 5 minutes away. Why would you stay in that little ratty looking Adelaide cottage when there's an empty castle up the street? Doesn't make any sense. So that's just what I think. I notice every time he does one of those interviews or something like that, It's always at Windsor Castle. Always at Windsor Castle. Kensington Palace, nobody. They rarely use the Kensington Palace. I would imagine the only time that they go back to apartment one is when there's a rendezvous planned. Other than that, I don't suppose they use Kensington Palace. When they were in that green room and they did that podcast, I believe that was Windsor Castle. They were in that green room. I believe that was Windsor Castle. Somebody check and see if you can, if that was Windsor. But I just don't think. Oh, all right. I heard Windsor Castle has a fully equipped hospital. There you go. Thank you, Lorna Williams. There you go. There you go. Now, Thomas Kingston, son in law of Prince Michael of Kent, dead at 45. Speaking of 45, the means in which he left this world was mysterious, wasn't it? I mean, think about it. There was a conversation with his father, and then they parted ways so that his father could go and walk the dog. And then when his father was looking for him, he couldn't find him. And on the other side of a locked door, there he was, laid out on the floor with a catastrophic injury to his head. And also, there was a firearm nearby, right? Catastrophic injury, firearm. Now, I was listening to people trying to figure out where could this weapon have come from. There's not, it's not easy to get weapons in the United Kingdom. Well, you guys, listen. When you are in those old money landed gentry families, have you ever seen some of those homes where they have a collection of firearms all the way back to, I don't know, say Henry VIII? They have collections of them. And whenever they have to put down a horse, why do I say that and somebody comes to mind? I don't know. But whenever they have to put down a horse, I don't think they usually go and get a rifle. I think they go and get something like you know, a handgun. So I am just going to assume that people who live on country estates, they often have those that are passed down through the family. So why would you have to wonder or guess how could this possibly have been there? Because they had it already. They always have that stuff. When they have those hunting parties and things like that, they always have stuff. So I'm not surprised that they would have some old musket sitting around that they could use in such a way. And because, you know, he comes from one of those families, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he knew exactly what to do with it. So that's. I don't think that's a tough one. Where it comes from or anything like that, I don't think that's a big deal. Okay. That Frogmore Cottage was an insult as a gift. Harry's prior home was a rundown shack in the castle. They have a disgrace a bunch for abusing Harry and Meghan and Archie. Horrible. Yes. Um, Still, it was an upgrade and a much needed upgrade. Plus, I don't think Harry wanted anything flashy or showy. Um, it's not Meghan's taste. It's not Harry's taste to have something extravagant. I think they wanted something, that was adequate for their family. But when they left, they needed security. And so they needed a bigger house in a gated community where they can conduct business because, that house is also a place where they conduct business and have meetings and such. So they definitely needed something like that. But if they were still with the firm, as they say, I'm sure they would have been content to have stayed there. um, except for the constant attacks from the media. But a house like that, it is an insult, yes, that they end up from one cottage to the next. I don't know anybody else in the family that lives in a cottage and a senior royal at the same time, but I think that the Sussexes would have been okay with that had they just left them alone. Okay. Uh, speak your mind. Speak more also on what they're doing to Meghan while she was pregnant. I know they were making her life miserable, but not sure how. Was it over money? It was over anything. It was over anything. It was over dark nail polish or varnish. It was a one sleeve dress. It was her touching her stomach. It was the attention that she got. It was the idea that a child of African descent was being born into the whitest institution in the land. It was several things. It was all of that and then some. All of those things was the reason. Every bit of it. Money. No, money, I don't think money played a role. Money was not the problem. The problem was just her being. The problem was her mother's nose ring and twisty hair. The problem was the idea of black blood. That was it. All of that was the problem. One of the least problems was, oh, she's an American. That was the excuse. That was the excuse. Well, I may have seen some anti Americanism, but it had nothing to do with race. That was all they could think of. That's why they wanted them to show the baby so that they could talk about it, right? They could talk about the baby's complexion. That is what they wanted. But it is the original sin of these United States of America, racism, and is probably the worst sin, the sin that is of the British Empire, racism, because they use racism as a means to conquer in order to get those young sailors and naval officers to go to these distant lands and conquer and kill and everything else that they were doing, they had to dehumanize the indigenous people by referring to them as savages or devils or ungodly or dirty, the unwashed, all of which you can find back home, but that wasn't the point. And so they used that as a justification. So most of what happened to Meghan, it starts with race, it ends with race, and everything in between. So I hope that was helpful. Let me see. Too bad Diana didn't have that. Um, well, I mean, but if Diana was there, it still would have been the same thing. They wouldn't have left her alone. The Sussexes were there and they didn't leave them alone. They would have found some way to criticize her. And Charles and Camilla were actively plotting against her, along with that spin doctor that they were paying. They wanted Diana to go away and just shut up and be a victim. Say nothing, be a victim. And Diana had a voice and she chose to use it. And they couldn't stand it that she was pushing back, that they were lying, and that she would dare push back. On a large country, English country estate, they have guns to call deer, and some estates have license for hunting party tourism. Yeah, exactly, exactly. They that is a way of life out there in the country, and they were at a 3 million pound country pile. So I could not imagine one of those places not having firearms, especially if they have any horses. If they have horses, surely they have it. Hunting parties, definitely. I mean, they have them all hung on the walls and everything. And then, of course, the lord of the manor would keep one locked in his desk or just in his desk. So, yeah, the groundskeeper might actually have one. Whoever's in charge of the groundskeeping or whoever is in charge of whatever animals they have would likely have one. So yeah, not difficult to come about. It's not like people assume it is. As Americans, we always hear, "Oh, that's so difficult to get over there." Well, yeah, for the average civilian, sure, but for the landed gentry, not such a big deal. Yeah. I don't know how Andrew managed to stay where he is, except Charles made a deal with his mother or had a soft spot. But there may be something in writing that keeps him in that house aside from his lease or whatever, because Charles is responsible for everybody in that family. And if you're there in the UK, um, there's a lot of ways that Charles can get around things if he chooses to do so. But who knows? Maybe there is something that keeps him there that we don't know of. Um, Bigger than some lease or something like that. But whatever it is, if the place has to run into the ground, he intends to stay there. So, but and not a surprise either, because the Queen had some pretty rundown properties herself. Okay, moving on here. So, Lady Gabriella Windsor's husband, Thomas Kingston, 45, died from a traumatic head wound, and a gun was found near his body in outbuilding of his parents' Cotswold home in Quest. Well, an outbuilding, meaning a place where there was tools of the country life. So, again, probably something that was readily available. Thomas Kingston found on Sunday evening, and the post mortem has revealed the cause of death. Gloucestershire Coroner Court was today told his father found him on forcing entry into locked building after Mr. Kingston had earlier visited for lunch with his parents. Senior coroner Caddy Skurret, Caddy Skurret said police and paramedics had been called to the scene after a member of the family made the 999 call. Police said Mr. Kingston's death was not suspicious. There goes that word again, not suspicious. His widow, Lady Windsor, paid tribute to her husband in a joint statement with his family, describing him as an exceptional man who lit up the lives of all who knew him, and called his death a great shock to the whole family. I'm sure. I'm sure that was shocking, especially for his parents. But well, they said he was visiting, so I don't know if he wasn't with his, if he and his wife, I don't think they were separated. I don't know. But, and then of course, now you guys, let me see what slide is next. Because at some point, I got to share the rumor with you all. Now, I'm going to have to pepper this with some language that won't get us in trouble. Oh, I got to pepper this with, but first of all, take a look at Willie there. I don't know why that looks natural. That looks very natural for him to hold that little water can like that. But something tells me he's in his element. Okay. Now let me try to couch this properly. So remember, they were saying that Kate Middleton had hired a new equerry, and what is it? The El Escudero. I guess that means equerry um, in Spanish. But anyway, um, she hired a new equerry, right? And he's supposed to be the one that's going to help her out. So when I saw this, I just said to myself, if she's going to be away for 9 months, does this have something to do with that 9 months absence? By the way, you guys, please don't forget to hit the like button. But does this have something to do with that 9 months absence? I mean, you cannot say 9 months to just about anybody without thinking of, what happens in 9 months. Okay. And we know that there seem to be strained relations between Kate and Willie Leaks, right? And so, as you know, sometimes people get lonely. We all get lonely. Sometimes we have an itch and we just need somebody to scratch it. And so when they talked about this in the Vanity Fair Espagnole, I'm just like, that's interesting. I wonder if they're trying to say something. But then I thought, nah, that would be too obvious. And then, of course, there's a curious thing about them posting images, well, doing articles referring to William as solo dad, not single, but being a solo dad or parenting solo, which I thought was rather crass, not only to say that, but then also to print photos of William, the children, absent Kate. That was strange. I got a couple of articles that I saved where there's no Kate, and they're talking about William doing, mom and dad duty. So there's that. All right. And oh gosh, are my slides out of place? I think so. Maybe I didn't post. Let me see if I have the slide that I was looking for. Let me just see. If not, I'll just say what I need to say. I'm sorry, not trying to keep you in suspense. Hmm. Uh, did I have a slide to help me with that? Hmm. Okay, I suppose not. I suppose not. Okay, let me just cut to the chase then. All right. But one of the last things that was discussed um, in the Twitter sphere, in X, formerly known as Twitter, they were saying that. Hmm, what were they saying? They were saying, "Oh, I can't say it. I can't say it." Okay. They were saying that somebody may have been angry, very angry with um, uh, Thomas Kingston. That someone may have been very angry with him for scratching somebody else's itch, right? And that itch may have had something to do with everything that's happening right now, and that perhaps there was a punishment for um, for scratching somebody else's itch. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? I hope so. So they're saying that if for some reason um, you're found in a behind a locked door like that, that maybe somebody was angry at you because of of scratching an itch. So that was it. That was it. I hope you understand what I'm saying. But of course, That is so far fetched. And I promise you, if that is true, how would we ever know? I don't think it would ever see the light of day. But maybe one of them school runs took a lot longer, one day or 2 days. Or, I mean, after all, among the aristocrats, it's not unusual to, swap. And then we also have to remember that uh, Mr. Kingston did used to date the sister, right? Used to date Kate's sister. So they all seem to know each other, is what I'm trying to say. Is that they all seem to know each other. So um, do with that what you will, but they all seem to know each other. Just like Tom Parker Bowles. They say that any man should be honored to lay down his life for the king. Well, there's an old saying that any Englishman worth his salt should be honored to lay down his wife for his king. And that's exactly what is Camilla's husband name? Peter Parker, whatever his name is. I said Tom, but no, the daddy, um, Camilla's ex-husband. Well, he managed to lay down his horse, not horse, his wife for the king, and he was okay with it. Everybody was okay with it. When they go on those, when they have those hunting parties for the weekend, or for the week, or however long they're away, one of the things that happens is, let's say the future King Charles can actually spend time with his mistress, and nobody's going to frown. It is just understood that he is going to be king, and he has chosen a mistress, like most sovereigns before him, and that he's allowed to do as he chooses because he's going to be king. And there's nothing that you can say about it or should say about it, because that's just the way it is. And so when we hear them say that William, William may have had an affair, right? I'm not saying he did, but if he did have an affair, it is a custom amongst the aristos to do that. And not just one, but to have your pick of the litter. If you're going to be king, like there are royal dukes that became dukes because they were the product of a relationship with a mistress. That's where some of those royal dukedoms have come from. Well, not royal dukedoms, but dukedoms have come from. Royal dukes are usually a prince, but yeah, that's where they come from. You're not going to be a prince. You're not going to be in line for the throne, but you can have that land and that title, and here's some money to get you started. That's where some of those come from. So yeah, so that's what they were saying, is that somebody may have been very angry with him, and that they decided to go and have a conversation. And maybe two people walked in and one person walked out. Or it could have been a thousand other things, right? It could have been anything else. But that is just one of the things that you're probably going to hear on social media in the next few days, especially now that people know that it was a traumatic head injury. So there's going to be a lot of speculation about how that could have happened. Was there something nefarious that happened to him? So, mm, but like I said, we'll never know. We'll never know. They're going to have an inquest for sure, but I don't think we'll ever know. Andrew Parker Bowles. That's it. Thank you so much. I couldn't think of that name for nothing. Usually, because when I think Andrew, I think sick old man. Yeah, so Tom is that large-headed child that they have, the one that has a mouth that wraps completely around the front of his face. That one. Oh, he's got a big mouth. Everything about him is just larger than life. He scares me. Um, you know, you know, I just saw someone say karma, and there's a lot coming out, and it's coming out really fast, and all of it is shrouded in such mystery, and any part of it could be true, and maybe most of it is untrue. But whatever happened, thank you, Lord Jesus, for getting Meghan out of there, for getting those kids out of there. Yep, thank you for getting those kids out of there. Ooh, you think so? Oh man. Well, you know that Willie leaks that William decided when he woke up and he was supposed to give that talk. I mean, do that reading that day, and William decided he could not possibly go through with it, like he had been on a bender or something. Um, that seemed to be a very odd coincidence. That seemed to be a very odd coincidence. So, oh man, I'm going to say this one more time. For the sake of those children, I want them to have their parents safe. I want them to be safe. And I would love for people to reconsider how much access the press has to those children. I hope they will assess the way those kids are being raised, and I hope that they will turn out a lot better than their parents because those miserable people there, I don't have a use for them. So Prince William's Duchy of Cornwall is no better than a medieval slush fund. We talked about that yesterday. Billionaire Prince should hand it back to the public. However, friends of William and other royal sources told the Daily Beast that the palace would not be pressured by toxic speculation. I don't know why I put these two together into changing their carefully planned approach of saying as little as possible about Princess recovery. Let me see. One friend asked about media commentary suggesting that the palace should be more open, such as an assertion in the Daily Mail that by saying nothing, the royals invite speculation. Said the newspaper are always telling the family how to run their press operations. This time, surprise, surprise, they seem to think it would be a good idea for the royal family to give them more information about Kate. William isn't a big one for doing stuff because the Daily Mail says he should. Really? Oh, really? Oh, really? Because I think he seems to be in lockstep with the Daily Mail. He depends upon the Daily Mail. But you know what? If there's going to be a war between Kensington Palace and the Daily Mail, um, I don't believe that the royal family is going anywhere anytime soon. And that, as they say, if William has done something terrible, where is that at? Well, what happens if Prince William commits a serious crime? You know what happens? Nothing. He will be protected. That is what's going to happen, is that he will be protected. They're always going to protect the principal. Oh, thank you so much. Someone was trying to send a super chat and it wasn't working out, but thank you so much for the PayPal. Greatly appreciate it. Oh, let me see. Oh, this is juicy. Let me see if I can. Oh man, it cuts off. I don't know how to get the whole thing out of it, but let me see. Let me see if I can. You know, when something starts off like that. Okay. Hmm. Could she be? She is high risk and already unhealthy. Maybe they thought her first trimester she would have improved, but she could be having a very difficult 9 months. Interesting. Well, and now I don't even remember where I heard 9 months, but I know I didn't make it up. Thank you so much for the PayPal. I know I did not make it up, but somebody said something about 9 months, and I just don't know where it came from. But someone said that she wouldn't be back for 9 months, and I thought, why would they say that? Because if you say 9 months, everybody knows what you're thinking or what other people will think. So why would you say something like that? But you know what? Listen. Okay, if you're feeling guilty about the conversation that people are having, or that we're having, or that I'm talking and sharing, let me ease your conscience by saying this: the rollout for all of this has been very sloppy. The lack of information. The one thing that the royal family needs and they do not have is a press secretary. And I mean someone just like the President of the United States has a press secretary that holds a news conference on the daily. They need someone to speak directly, someone to dodge questions, someone to give an official position for the royal family on a daily basis. And I don't think I'm helping them out. I couldn't be the first one to say this, but that's what they need. Because if you depend on Angela Levin or Tom Bowles or Jeannie, whatever her name is, Jeannie, that one with the piranha face. If you that liar, you know which one I'm talking about. If you depend on those people to tell the story, it needs to be one person and one person only, and then let the rest of them feed from there. And if they want that person to be Rebecca English, fine. But they need to hire someone on full time, not someone to answer the phone at the palace and then spread rumors and plot against people and leak information, but an official person with an official position for the royal family every day. Why don't they have that instead of several people speaking nonsense on a daily basis? They are only creating a negative atmosphere around that family. That's all they're doing, is putting a cloud over the family. Maybe in the past it made sense to do things the way that they have, but then people are telling us that the Royal Rota only started about 30 years ago, that there wasn't always a Royal Rota. Mix it up. Let some other reporters in or something. But yeah, it doesn't make any sense. So anyway, the point I was making is we have done nothing wrong. We're speculating because they won't give us any proper information. And until they start um, properly updating this information on a daily basis, if possible, then they're going to get what they got. And so the Daily Mail appears to be threatening them. Uh, Either you give us what we want the way we want it, or do as we say, or we're gonna pick a story for you. We're gonna pick a narrative for you. That's what it sounds like to me. One friend asked about media commentary suggesting that the palace should be more open, such as an assertion in the Daily Mail that by saying nothing, the royals invite speculation. They're inviting speculation. So we've done nothing wrong. Until they do better, then we have a right to our opinion. Now, I'm going to switch over to this guy for a second, Ben McBean. You may recall that he was injured, and I guess it was in Afghanistan. He lost an arm, he lost a leg, or did he lose both arms? Anyway, this guy has always had so much to say about Harry ever since um, the Sussexes left. Now, this is someone that Harry has dubbed a true hero, a true hero, right? And he lavishes from that compliment from Harry, right? Or should I say, his life has been what I'm trying to say is it's helped him a lot that Harry has dubbed him a true hero, and he is a hero, but he talks too much. Now, he's had a row over the blue badge. In other words, handicap parking for us here in the US. They took it away because they saw him wearing one of those blades and running a marathon. They said, if you got that you don't need special parking. You seem to be healthy as far as I'm concerned. Now, in the US, I don't think that would ever happen. There's so many people here that should not have them that have them. Lord knows they're not going to take them away. I mean, I've seen some people with those handicap parks to jump out their car and do a cartwheel into a split and then start dancing like Aunt Viv on the Fresh Prince. They do all kind of stuff. Then they go in the store. Okay. You see them doing all kind of acrobats and stunts, and then they go into the store. Okay. So, and nobody takes their parking away, but they took his away. So he went on television complaining about it. And what's his name? Johnny Mercer, that guy that deals with the veterans, minister for the veterans or whatever. He took care of it and got it back for him. Well, this time it expired and they took it from him again. Now, Talk TV, who is no fan of Harry and Meghan, of course, they kept saying over and over and over again, oh, this shouldn't have happened. Harry has dubbed you a hero, a real hero, a true hero. Oh, he doesn't get much right, but he got that right. And so not only did they use Harry to tell the story once, then the next day he comes back and said that he heard from Mercer again and that they're going to give him his blue badge back. Mercer said, I'll handle it, right? They were going to, move mountains to make sure he gets his parking thing back. But this is somebody that I'm not too fond of because as much as he has depended on Harry, like right there, Harry, wounded hero Marine, don't deport pilot who fought with UK forces to Rwanda. Commander who lost two limbs in Afghanistan war says he helped us. We must help him settle here. Um, this guy, part of his image, part of his, dare I say, his income is based on his relationship with Harry. But yet, if you take a look on the right side, Spare Us, when Spare came out, Prince Harry war hero Ben McBean blast Duke, telling him to shut up after he slammed William in new book. Prince Harry war hero Ben McBean blasts Duke, telling him to shut up after he slammed Prince William in new book. And I'm just like, with friends like that, who needs enemies? So I tell you what, if I'm ever in a place and I see him getting out of his car with that blue badge, I'm calling 999 and I'm going to tell him, There's somebody cheating the system. There's somebody cheating their game in the system. Ain't nothing wrong with him with his big mouth. He lying. Ain't nothing wrong with him. I am. I am. I'm gonna. I'm. If I ever see him, I'm calling it in. I'm gonna just. I don't care. I don't care. I'm still gonna do it because I didn't like the way he was trying to throw Harry under the bus. Harry has been such a friend to him, and he gonna open up his big mouth and say something like that. And of course, when he went on TV, you know, they probably, likely, allegedly paid him so he could sit up there and trash Harry. See how people do? See how they do? Harry done some of everything for him, and that's the way he thanks Harry. B. Martin says, "How you doing?" I'm sorry, how you doing? I don't know why I said that. How you going to be a firm and have no sensible PR team? Jeez, yes, B. Martin. I don't. There's corporations that communicate better than the royal family, and they've been at it for 1,000 years. Have they learned nothing? Thank you for your super chat. I know. I don't like him. I don't like him. I thought that was so crappy of him to do that. I thought that was so crappy of him to do that. Uh huh. Abused, hazed, targeted. Yep. I mean, they couldn't protect William. William got like about a 4-inch scar on his forehead because somebody clobbered him with a golf club. If they couldn't protect him, imagine what they would do with the Sussex kids. No, thank you. No, thank you. Yep, I'm about to order me a flight to. I got to find out what city he live in. I'm gonna have my camera too. I'm gonna take some pictures and I'm gonna call him and say, "Ain't nothing wrong with him. Ain't nothing wrong with him. Y'all come get this blue badge. Ain't nothing wrong with him. His mouth works, that's for sure. Ain't nothing wrong with his mouth." There he is. There he is, right there, the big mouth. Get him. Take that badge away from him. He lying. Ain't nothing wrong with him. That's why you can't be nice to some people. That's why you can't be nice to some people. And wait a minute. Wait. To show you how life is. Do you know he broke his ankle, and that's how he got the badge back? Is because he had broke his ankle. When they took it from him the first time, they didn't want to give it back to him, so he got a temporary badge now because he broke his ankle. I don't know how he broke it. Probably saying something he shouldn't have, but probably messing with somebody he shouldn't have been messing with, running his big mouth. He makes me sick. You hear me? Sick. He just makes me sick. Lizzie 34. Oh, thank you so much for becoming a new member of Royal Sussex. Thank you very much. Well, thank you, Church Nelly, for the warm welcome. Oh, I should have warned you guys, shouldn't I? I should have warned you. Um, Listen, if anybody is expecting an OBE or a LMMOPQRS or whatever those things they give out, if you're expecting one, that scared me that time. You know that actually scared me. Usually, usually it doesn't scare me, but when I just switched to this one, that actually gave me a bit of a jolt. I do apologize. As soon as I opened up that thing, the first thing I felt was That was the first thing. I was startled. I was absolutely startled. Um, so it says here plans allowing Queen Camilla and the Princess of Wales to hand out honors have been considered by Buckingham Palace in a bid to spread the load of royal duties in a slimmed down monarchy. Royal aides discussed the possibility of them standing in for the late Queen Elizabeth when she was still on the throne, as the palace faced a huge backlog of investitures following the pandemic. Now there is speculation the preliminary proposal, which in the end did not need to be invoked, could be revived given the king's cancer diagnosis and the dwindling number of senior working royals. So that means the next time that you go for your investiture, I don't know. Maybe Kitty will be back. Yeah, maybe Kitty will be back, or you might have the misfortune of running into, or, or there is still a good chance that Sir Weave-a-Lot, Sway Sway, might actually be the one to give you your investiture. Yeah, Lord Sway Sway, you might you might have Sway Sway give you your investiture. So one more time, here goes. The important thing is you got to know when to lean back, right? See, when he leans forward, you lean back. And then when he goes back, you can go back forward again. Okay, come on, practice with me. Now, on behalf of the here is your investiture. Now lean back, and then you can come back forward again. See, I'm just helping you all practice. On behalf of His Majesty, blah 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 blah, and then lean back, and then come back up again. See, it's easy. You'll get used to it. So anyway, if there's anybody listening that is expecting an investiture, just remember, lean back and then come back forward again. See? That's all. You can practice later. Don't worry, he's good. He ain't gonna fall. People like that, they don't fall no more. Even if he's been in Uncle Gary's baking soda, he ain't gonna fall. Even if he was been in Tom Parker Bowles baking soda, he ain't gonna fall. He's a pro. He's a pro. Okay, so yeah, could Kate and Camilla be asked to hand out royal gongs? Palace considering spreading load of royal duties to allow fresh blood to lend a hand. Fresh, fresh. Well, I don't know. That blood's been circulating since 1909 or something like that. Yeah, and then one I'm not even sure is mortal, let alone has blood. So yeah, I wouldn't worry about that. There's speculation Queen Camilla and the Princess of Wales might hand out gongs in slimmed down monarchy following King's cancer diagnosis. So yeah, when I saw that, I'm like gongs. I had to think about it for a second, but yeah, they're talking about those little trinkets. They look like a little gong. Now, this is the. I think this is a rework from Cold War Steve. You guys remember Cold War Steve? He has come up with some very clever images using the art and skills of the computer. He's managed to create these. So this is not AI. This is all from his imagination. And so you can see that relationship that we dare not acknowledge or speak of seems to be taking center stage. And then if you go further, let's say if you go 10 o'clock, you can see there is a sick old man hiding and lurking behind a pillar. And then, of course, further left, you'll notice there's some mysterious dark haired woman who seems to be sipping a beer and pretending like nothing is happening, right? Yeah. Oh, you know what? I just noticed that they cannot go anywhere. I just noticed that. Did you guys see it? You see it? I didn't see that the first time, but now I see it. And then over on the right, as you can see, the two people that are just simply trying to go on with their lives, love each other, and make this world a better place is being tormented by those tiki torch bearing royal reporters like Mrs. Magoo, Angela Levin, and that 1920s ventriloquist dummy, Andrew Pierce. And then, of course, there's the calls are coming from inside the house, Dan Wooten, Hoghead, and then, of course, the bison. Jeremy Clarkson reminds me of one of those American bison. But yeah, so there they are tormenting our faves. So yeah, and that of course credit Cold War Steve for his incredible detail work. Pretty cool. Now, let me see. There was this thing. Now, I promise you, I don't see it. I know people have been saying that there appears to be some bruising. I thought it was just shadow. I don't suspect there's anything there. When you look at William straight on, the first thing you notice is that he has a rather pronounced jawline, like that of a jackass. He has the jawbone of a jackass. And so it kind of sticks out. I mean, literally, he has the jawbone of a jackass. If you say, hey, jackass, he just turn around and be like, yas, yas, because he's got the jawbone of a jackass. So that's what he looks like. So I thought it was just shadow. I don't think that there's any bruising there, but I could be wrong. I could be wrong. There may have been somebody on a country estate that was trying to get away and tried to karate chop him. And but when you have a jawbone like that, it may leave a bruise, but it'll never take you down. So and then here, William was very close to his godfather, and it is strange that the Prince of Wales pulled out of his memorial service for personal reasons, royal expert claims. So I think that this was supposed to have been earlier that I used this slide when I was speaking about somebody found with a catastrophic head wound, but maybe not. And there's an article out from the Telegraph, which, let me see. It says Prince William's former aide, Simon Case, was responsible for drafting a key document about Prince Harry quitting royal duties, court papers state. This week, the Duke of Sussex lost his high court attempt to have his armed police security reinstated every time he visited Britain. A legal spokesperson for the Duke said that he would seek justice by appealing against the decision. A 51-page judgment in the case revealed how the details of the Sussex's departure from royal duties were reached. And on January the 8th, 2020, after spending time in Canada, Harry and Meghan announced that they were stepping back from official royal duties. The Sussexes said they plan to split their time between the UK and North America. Palace sources said at the time that the Queen Elizabeth had not been consulted before the couple published their statement and was disappointed by their stance. The Sussexes' announcement sparked a frenzied few days with royal aides scrambling to respond. Documents now show that Case, who had previously worked for David Cameron and Theresa May, authored the paper on behalf of the royal household, which set out steps for the Sussexes to quit duties. Court papers state on January the 8th, 2020, an announcement was made in relations to claimant the Duke of Sussex stepping back from official royal duties and a public role. On January 11, 2020, Sir Edward Young, the late Queen's private secretary, emailed the claimant with a draft paper, which was largely the work of Simon Case concerning the detailed arrangements to give effect to the announcement. Following a meeting at Sandringham on January 13, 2020, what that claimant described as an agreement of sorts was reached, which has been described in the media as the Sandringham Agreement. It is understood that Simon Case's paper listed a series of 5 bullet point options for the Sussexes. Harry wrote in his autobiography, Spare, that option 1 was status quo. Meg and I leave everyone's ties to go back to normal. Meg and I leave. Everyone tries to go back to normal. Option 5 was full severance, no royal row, no working for granny, and a total loss of security. Option 3 was somewhere in between, closest to what we'd originally proposed. But Harry went on to describe the entire meeting as fixed because an aide got up after nearly an hour of debating the options, handing out a draft of a statement that the palace would soon be releasing, announcing implementation of option 5. Harry adds, in other words, the fix was in this whole time. The summit was just for show. The fact that Simon Case, acting for Prince William, was so integral to the final outcome of Harry's departure from royal life will cast further doubt on whether the brothers can ever be reconciled. You see there? The fix was in, and William was at the center of it. That was William's doing. William had Simon Case draw up some papers stripping Harry of everything, and Charles went right along with it, and the aging and ailing grandmother, unable to lend a voice, just sat there, and then it was over. The 90-something-year-old woman, her 70-year-old son, 70-year-old son, and her 50-something looking grandson, William, the fix was in. The fix was in, and at the center of it was Simon Case. Go figure. So William's aide played key role in Harry and Meghan's royal exit. At least they didn't use the M word. And by the way, this article comes from the Telegraph, so I'm surprised they didn't use the M word. Simon Case. And here's another example of Harry and Meghan. In the Harper's Bazaar, you can see they also have run a story about the New York car chase. So I'm just pointing out that more and more legitimate news agencies are actually acknowledging the fact that it happened and sharing that information. Here is another one of those cloud nuggets. I love this one. Unsolved mystery. Now, I'm not sure exactly what mystery is unsolved, but this is the work of Cloud Nugget. And you can see up there at the top it says Chucky. This episode is also starring Milla the horse and Peggy. So I don't know who Chucky, Milla the horse, and Peggy is, but those three actors are starring in this episode of Unsolved Mysteries. Gosh, I wish I knew who those people were. But Cloud Nugget, if you're watching, thank you very much. This is another one of your outstanding creations and one of my favorites to date. I don't recognize that silhouette. I don't know who that's supposed to be. It looks like they're wearing a fancier slapped on the side of their head like a flying saucer just crash landed on their head and a bunch of silly feathers and frill and stuff, but I don't know who that could be. And it was bad enough that they have claimed that Kate had a BBL and that she was in a gymnasium. Now they got her walking past Nando's. Yeah, there's been yet another Kate sighting, someone who looks remarkably identical to Kate Middleton has been seen strutting past a Nando's with her new BBL. So I don't know. It doesn't look like Kate that much, except that mouth is askew. Um, it looks like a bunch of hair extensions, but that BBL, that's the one that I'm confused about. So, but yeah. So yeah, there's some funny images out there on the internet. And even Talk TV, is Kate going into Big Brother celebrity I'm sorry, going into Celebrity Big Brother? This is actually one of their thumbnails. They actually had a a video. I didn't watch the video. I just stole their thumbnail. But yeah, they actually had a video about Kate being in the newest Big Brother. Can't believe they did that. Let me see. What did I do with that? Remember that slide? I had one of those slides. Oh, let me see. I think that was from 2 days ago, wasn't it? Hold on, let me find it. It is funny. It is funny. Oh, by the way, I'm done. I'm done, you guys. I think I have one more slide. I think I have one more slide. This is it. There's our prince. I never saw that photo on the left side where he's in the cockpit of the. I think that's that World War II plane. Was it a Spitfire or a Lancaster? It was something like that. But yeah, that is Harry and that and that was a great story. If you guys remember the story, there was one of the planes that they were supposed to use that day had trouble, and so Harry volunteered to give up his place in his plane to another, to actually a World War II pilot who, was quite old, but the plane that he was supposed to go up in had engine trouble. So Harry switched with him so that he would have the honor and the privilege of actually flying in the plane for the air show, which was very thoughtful. But then that's our Harry, right? Oh, there it is. What day is that? The 28th? Okay. Let me find it. 28th Celebrity Big Brother. All right. Good night, all. Thank you so much for joining us here on Royal Sussex. And as per usual, it's been a pleasure. Don't forget to hit that like button on the way out. And if you're not subscribed, please do. There she is. Latest rumors are in. Kate Middleton is reportedly the 14th and final celebrity to have signed up for the brand new series of Celebrity Big Brother, starting Monday night on ITV. Okay, that's it then. Oh, you all, I am so appreciative. Thank you all so much. And thank you all for the PayPal and the super stickers, super chats, and membership. Thank you, Elaine Parker, TMCD. Thank you for trying again. I will work on it. Brown Girl, thank you. And TMCD, again, thank you. I'm going to work on it. H. Knight, Joan Lawman, Carla Johnson, thank you again. B. Martim, and B. Martim. And Lizzie34, thank you for becoming a new member. Thank you all. All right. And thank you, moderators, for keeping this a safe space. And let me see. That would include, where are the moderators? There we go. Cookies and Cream, Adrian Burrow, Sherry Ware, we haven't seen for a while, Black Queen, BS Speaks Royally, thank you as always for helping out. Lucy Wynn, Anastasia, Isabella, Elaine Parker, or I'm sorry, Dominica Anastasia, Isabella Christiansen. Thank you very much. Okay. Am I missing someone? Oh, Lydia Washington and Church Nelly. There we go. I knew I was missing somebody. All right. Good night, everyone. Let me see. Oh, Pam Porter, thank you for being here. Netherlando, I didn't know you were here. Thank you so much. All right. Oh, yeah, that was from that wedding in Jamaica. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I recognize that one. All right, you guys. Don't forget to pray for everyone who is recovering in surgery. As you know, Ivy lost her brother recently, and Jerry White is due for surgery soon. So send her your prayers. And okay, I hope I didn't forget anybody, but yes, don't forget to send those prayers out. And also, you guys, do pray for the Wales's kids, just like we pray for the Sussex children, because those kids, who knows what they're up against, and while we may not have anything for their parents, those kids are truly innocent, and they deserve happiness like anybody else's children. So um, I wish them a good life. Better kids than their parents turned out. Hard for me to say that without being a little shady. But I'm doing my best. I hope they turn out better than their parents, that I think are just dodgy individuals. But anyway, let me get this girl's leg down. Lord knows it's been up enough. Let me get her off of here. You see there? I cannot turn it off. The shade just keeps coming. Woo! Okay, okay. Shady much? Leslie F. I didn't know you were here. Hey, Blue Draws. Um, yeah. Uh, that's bad. Anyway, when you see our queens, it's time to go, and you know what I mean. It's time to go. What I say? Let me get this girl's leg down. Lord knows it's probably been up enough. Uh, uh, oh, 1960. I don't know who that person is. I never heard of that person. That's probably one of those Green Party people or something. Ugh. Ugh. Anybody to spoil it, right? It's unfortunate that it always comes down to just two people, but such is the world we live in. Okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, sleep with one eye open. Them Scorpios. Oh boy. I remember one time I was spending time with a couple of Scorpios, and I'm just like, this is so weird. We should be trying to destroy each other, rip each other's tentacles off or something. I don't know how we're managing to just sit here and be cordial with each other. We're supposed to be like leaping onto each other one at a time and pulling hair out by the follicles, and we were very strong though. So yeah, I'm always nervous when I'm around a bunch of Scorpios because I always feel like we should be attacking each other. Yeah, those Scorpios, it's not a matter of whether or not they're going to get even. It's just how long is it going to take? That's all the Scorpios ever think about is how much longer is this going to take? Because they never forget, ever. But I tell you, you be good to a Scorpio and you will get it back tenfold. You'll get it back tenfold. Oh, man. Okay, so our last word of the day is uh, good night, everyone. Thank you so much. That is poetic. I love it. All right, and with that, love you guys. I'm going to close with Once Upon a Time, which is Okay, I changed my mind. I decided to go with Madam Duchess. Okay, well, that's it for now. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all tomorrow. And remember, no bad energy.